Okay, good. So today we are going to continue. I think we're going to be continuing for a long time with chapter Kuf Yud Tet, 119. And we are up to the third letter, the letter Gimmel. So in the first few stanzas, the ones with Aleph, we saw we're going through David HaMelech's plan of how to connect with God, and his first thing in the Alephs was him saying, you have to have emunah pshuta, simple faith. You don't have to know why. You don't have to know exactly what's happening, and you just have to believe in Hashem. That's first step. But that's not good enough. So he went on to Bet, which we said is Bina, understanding, and this is our obligation to try and understand, to know that however much we do understand, we're still limited, but that we have to make some effort to understand. And quite a bit of what he was saying last week is that what we have to be extremely careful of is that as we begin to understand, we don't become arrogant with our understanding. In other words, thinking, now that I know everything, I can decide which mitzvahs are worth keeping, which ones are not worth keeping, if it's necessary for me and my soul to keep that mitzvah or not. Bina, understanding, shouldn't take us away from the foundation, which was emunah pshuta, simple faith, just doing what we are supposed to do. And so today we come to the gimmels. Gimmel in tradition, Gimmel is the letter of Gomel, to give. You probably all know the word Gemilat Chesed, to give kindness, in other words, to be kind. And the commentaries tell us that a Gimel, if you even look at the way it's shaped, it looks like it's running, one foot out in front, and the Gimel is running. And say the commentaries that the Gimel is always running to do good, to be kind. And in fact, that's one of the reasons Chazal explained to us that the Gimel comes right before Daled. Daled represents somebody who's poor. So the Gimel is always looking to run after and do good for the Daled, okay, which is the next letter that's coming. And doing good, being kind, giving is not just talking financially, but obviously talking about being nice, being a good person. In this set of 8 stanzas, the Gimels ones, so David HaMelech starts to ask Hashem to give to him, Gomol al avdecha, give to your servant, be kind to your servant, and he speaks about the fact that he wants to be able to connect with Hashem so deeply. He wants to be able to keep the Torah and the mitzvahs. He wants to know deeper levels, and we'll see that as we go through. So we begin the Gimels begins Gemol al avdecha, be kind to your servant. Echye ve'eshmera dvarecha. I want to live and I want to keep your words. So, few comments on this pasuk. The first thing is that the reason that Hashem should be kind to us, says David HaMelech, is so that we can live. Echye. That's the biggest thing we want in kindness from Hashem. He should make us live. And live doesn't just mean exist, it means live. We're asking Hashem that He should give us the health, the finance, the desire, the everything to echye, to really live. And what is the whole purpose of really living? What are we hoping to achieve by living? Ve'eshmera dvarecha. That we should be able to listen to Hashem's word. So the first question that David asks of Hashem is, I want to live not just because I want to have a fancy house and a fancy car and be able to go on holidays and do all the nice things, which I do want to do. But that's not the whole reason for my living. The reason for my living, the reason for my being should be ve'eshmera dvarecha, that I can keep your word, that I can do more mitzvahs. There's a saying in Pirkei Avos that says, "Schar mitzvah mitzvah." The reward for one mitzvah is the ability to be able to do another mitzvah. I remember many years ago teaching it to a grade 9 class. The girl now, Baruch Hashem, she's a mother of a big family, and she comes from a big family. And she looked up and she said, I know exactly what that means. Schar mitzvah, mitzvah. The reward for a mitzvah is a mitzvah. It's like if you help your mother and hold the baby while it's crying, she makes you also feed the baby its bottle. So she did not appreciate this concept of schar mitzvah mitzvah. She thought that it's like, what, you do one good thing, you end up having to do other good things also. And she didn't like that, right? She wasn't impressed with that at all. But on a higher level of understanding, possibly past grade 9, we start to realize that there needs to be purpose. We could never be happy and satisfied with just living for the sake of living. So we do want to live nicely. We do want to have nice things. We do want all of those luxuries to whatever extent we want it. But we all understand that there has to be something deeper. And this is what David HaMelech says to Hashem. He says, Echya, I want to live the Eshmera Dvarecha, and I want to be able, the whole reason that I want to live is so that I can keep your word. I can do what you say. This is a simple request for being able to have a connection with Hashem. Because when we do what someone else wants, that's building a connection with that person. So if you have someone who just gives and gives and gives to you, and there's no reciprocation whatsoever, that is not a relationship. So it's just someone who gives to you, and you hope they'll carry on giving to you. But at some stage, they may stop, you may never. You don't have a relationship. But when you have a give and take relationship, that you give and give to someone, and they give and give to you, that's what builds up a relationship. That's what makes us love people. We love someone because we do nice things for them and because they do nice things for us. And so this is what David is saying to Hashem. How do I build a relationship with you, Hashem? Not just by taking and taking and taking, which is most often what we do, but I also want to be able to give and do for you as much as I possibly as a human being can. So the Alter Rebbe once gave one of his chassidim a bracha for a good life, and he said, "I wish you that you should have a good and a long life." And the chassid responded to him almost strangely, said to him, "I only want a good life. I only want a long life if it's going to be good." And we actually echo this thought when we wish people long life. We say to them, we wish you arichas yamim, which is a long life, v'shanim tovos, but it should be good years also. And this is talking not just physically, but it's talking spiritually as well. The way that David HaMelech says it over here, Echia, I want to live, that's the long life, ve'eshmera dvarecha, but I also want to be able to keep, I want to be able to do your will. Pasuk Yud Ches says, he says, Gal einai, open my eyes, va'abita nifla'is mitosecha, so that I can see the secrets, the nifla'is, the wonders of your Torah. So this word Gal einai, open my eyes, so that I can see the wonders of your Torah. So the commentaries tell us that actually all the secrets of Torah, all the wonders that Hashem does, are there clearly out and open for all of us to see. There's really nothing that's absolutely hidden from human beings. However, sometimes our eyes are covered and we can't see it. We can't see it at all. So the most famous story of this is Hagar, and she's been kicked out of Abraham's house. She's with her son Ishmael, and he's dying of thirst. He has a fever, and he's dying of thirst, and he's under the bushes, and she knows that he's going to die. And she, Hagar, cries to Hashem, and she's sure that they're both going to land up dying. And the angel comes and says to her, "Why are you crying, Hagar? Open up your eyes, and you'll see that there is water." And at that moment, she stops crying, and she sees that there's a well. And the commentaries over there speak, like when they discuss it more deeply, that the well was always there. It just wasn't visible to Hagar. And they comment for us that that's with everything in our lives that we need. Everything, everything, and everything at a physical and a spiritual level is all here in this world for us. And what do we have to do? We have to open our eyes. And sometimes it's impossible. We're living in a space, in a state, things are going on around us that we don't understand, that we don't like. Whatever it is, it's difficult. And so David HaMelech is saying, sometimes we can't open our eyes. Gal Einai, Hashem, you please open my eyes so that I can see all of the good, all of the hidden things, everything that I need to see. At a much simpler level than that, David HaMelech is asking for the secrets of Torah to be revealed to him. So there's all different levels of Torah study, and one of the deepest is the secrets of Torah. And slowly we learn, and we start learning the various secrets of Torah. We like to call it Kabbalah. Sometimes we refer to it as Zohar or other kinds of Kabbalah. And how do we learn it? And we know that there's a process that we have to learn the easier parts first. Did suddenly the Kabbalah exist? Was it not there before, and only now that we've gone through this process that we get to it, that we can understand it? And says the Ruach Chaim that all these concepts, all these difficult parts of Torah were there all the time and open for us to learn and understand. And it's our choice if we want to, if we put effort into it, and if Hashem helps us, Gal Eina, He opens our eyes. Just an interesting side thing that I heard in a shir that I was listening to. The word Gal is the same letters as the word Lag. Well, obviously, because Lag is Lamed Gimel, and Gal is Gimel Lamed. So immediately when we hear the word Gal, we think about Lag BaOmer, and Lag BaOmer is the day of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who taught us, who gave us and taught us Kabbalah. And so says, this is what David HaMelech is asking Hashem, Gal Einai, open my eyes to the secrets of Torah, to the secrets that are in Kabbalah, and simply the way we understand them nowadays, to the secrets which we call Chassidus, or Torah Chassidus, the learning of Chassidus at a deeper level. And in order to do that, in order to learn and to appreciate the secrets of Torah, we have to put effort in. And the first effort that we have to put in is to ask Hashem, Gal Einai, please Hashem, open my eyes and let me understand. And in the same vein, the word Gal also means a pile of rocks is a Gal. And if you make a whole pile of rocks, you can't see through it. And what he's asking here, he's painting us a picture of a pile of rocks, and our job, in order to be able to see what's on the other side of that pile of rocks, is that we have to remove those rocks. We have to take them off one by one, so that we can see the wonders that Hashem has created in the world. And our rabbis tell us that one of the ways of seeing Hashem's wonders is by looking for them. Gal Einai, open up our eyes and look for the wonders that Hashem makes in His world. And he carries on and he says, Ger anochi ba'aretz, I'm a stranger in this land. Al taster mimenu mitzvosecha, don't hide from me all your commandments. So it was a very strange line. Ger anochi ba'aretz, I'm a stranger in this land. So lots and lots of Mefarshim coming to discuss this idea. So I want to share a few of them with you. So go right back to the story of Avraham. And when Avraham wants to buy Marat HaMachpelah, he says to the people, Ger v'toshav anochi, I'm a stranger and a settler. And this is what we call in English oxymoron. It's two opposites. Either you're a stranger or you are a settler. Like, what are you? And commentaries tell us that all great people consider themselves a stranger in this aretz, in this world that we live in. So you may be familiar with the story of the Maggid. The Maggid was extremely poor. It describes his house that he had like a piece of wood which he lay down on at night to sleep, and he turned it upwards in order to sit on it. And one day, a very wealthy businessman came to see him to get a blessing from him. And he said to him, Rebbe, Where's all your furniture? Where's your things? Where's your couch? Where's your clothes? Is this it? Is this your house? And the Maggid answered him and he said, Sir, where's your where's your couch? Where are your clothes? Where are your cupboards? So he said, They're at home. I'm a traveler. And the Maggid said, Same with me. My things are also at home, and I'm a traveler in this world. So that yes, we all travelers in this world, and please God, we travel here for a long, good time. But we have to know that our time in this world, even if it's a good 120 years, it's a limited amount of time. And this is what David HaMelech is saying to Hashem. Ger anochi ba'aretz. I know that I'm in this world for a limited amount of time, and I'm asking you, Hashem, that while I'm here, you help me find and keep your mitzvahs. So that's the first level. The next level of Ger Anochi Ba'aretz, another commentary. Ger is a convert. And what does David HaMelech mean when he says, Ger Anochi Ba'aretz? I'm a convert in this land. And so I saw a medrash, which I think is very beautiful. A few different comments on this. Maybe he considers himself a ger because his grandmother was Rus, who is the most famous of all converts. But I saw this really beautiful explanation. It says that people who have whatever it is, but in this case we're talking about Yiddishkeit, from birth, take it for granted, and don't think much. We don't think much about it. We don't get all excited every time we hear something new, when we hear a new piece of Torah, when we learn some interesting fact. We just take it. That's how it is. A ger, a convert, one of the qualities of the convert is that everything is brand new, and when things are brand new, we get excited about it. And David HaMelech says to Hashem, Ger anochi ba'aretz. I'm a convert. I'm like someone who is open to hearing everything that's brand new, open and ready to accepting your Torah, excited about everything that I'm being taught. And therefore, because I still have this excitement and I'm not taking everything for granted, I'll taster rimenu mitzvah. Don't hide from me your mitzvahs. Teach me everything. I'm just an open sponge, waiting, ready to hear. And the third explanation that I'm going to share with you on this concept of Ger Anochi Ba'aretz says that when you live in a place, you often don't see the place. Who gets to see all the sights of the place are the visitors. The tourists come and they go to the museums that maybe if you lived there, you've never been to in all these years. I was fascinated once. I have cousins who live in Israel, and one day she told me they live in Tel Aviv, and she told me that she never ever went to the Kaisel until right before she went into the army. Then she decided to go daven at the Kaisel. But just so, what was going to make her go to the Kaisel? And I was so fascinated. We go to Israel. That would be our first stop, going to the Kaisel. A similar concept, someone told me that they live in New York, and sometimes they don't go to the Ohel, the Lubavitcher Chassidim. They don't go to the Ohel for months and months and months. We come to America on the way from the airport. We stop at the Ohel. So what is it? What is the reason for this? Because it's not there for us all the time. It's something. I'm a stranger here. I'm a tourist, and so I make an effort to see things that the people who live in the place don't always get to see. And so this is again what David HaMelech is expressing. He's saying, Ger anochi ba'aretz. I'm like a tourist here. I'm excited about the things. I'm checking out the tourist attractions. I'm going to see what there is. Al taster mimenu mitzvah. So show me, don't hide anything from me. And the last explanation that I want to share, well, not really, the last that I want to share on these words is the concept of if you are a ger somewhere, how do you find your way? So if you live in Johannesburg, and I always make fun of my husband about this, he loves Waze and his GPS. And sometimes when he's driving from our house to Glen Hazel, which we sometimes do twice a day or 3 times a day, he switches on Waze to see. He always tells me, he says, well, maybe the traffic is bad and it will show me a way with better traffic. Mostly when we go in places that we know, we don't ask for directions, we just go. When we're in a place that we don't know where we are going, that's when we start looking for directions. We start asking someone to help us, whether it's our GPS, whether it's another person, whatever it is. And this is what David HaMelech is saying, Gera Nochi Ba'aretz, I don't know my way around. I'm a stranger here. And therefore I know that I have to get help to find my way. I need to ask, I need to find someone who's going to show me the way. And so this would be David HaMelech saying, Hashem, I'm looking for teachers. I'm looking for people who can influence me nicely. I'm looking for help so that I can find your Torah and your mitzvahs. And the last explanation that I want to give on these words comes from the Alshich. And the Alshich discusses this concept of ger. And he says that when Yaakov was coming back from Lavan, he'd been away for 22 years, and he was facing Esav, and he was petrified to face Esav, and he sends him a message. And one of the sentences, very famous sentences that he says in his message to Esav, he says, Im Lavan Garti. I lived with Lavan, and I've been there until now. And Rashi comments right away that what was he actually saying? Esav knew very well where he had been, but he was actually saying, Im Lavan Garti, I lived with Lavan, V'tariag mitzvahs shamarti, and I kept the 613 mitzvahs while I was there. So Garti, the letters Gimmel, Resh, Taf, Yud, are exactly the same letters as Tariag 613. So why was Yaakov telling Esav that he kept 613 mitzvahs? What did Esav really care if Yaakov kept mitzvahs or not? And the answer simply says the Alshich, I remained pure, I remained holy, even though I was by that wicked Esav, and therefore I remain absolutely faithful, full of faith. That Hashem is going to take care of me. And that was the message to Esav. I know you're coming out to try and kill me, but Garti, I lived well, and therefore I'm confident that Hashem will look after me. And says the Alshich that when we say those words, or when David says it over here, Ger Anochi Ba'aretz, what we're actually saying is, I lived well. I kept Torah and mitzvahs. I believe that I did what I was supposed to do, and therefore I have full of faith that Hashem will take care of me. Go on to the next pasuk, and it says, "Garsa nashi l'sa'ava," my soul is broken with desire. El mishpatecha b'chol eis. Every single moment, I'm looking for your laws. So this seems like a very strange pasuk. What does it mean? My soul is broken with longing for your laws. So simplest level. My soul garsa nafshi l'saiva. My soul is longing, it yearns, it's broken with desire. I want to be close to you, Hashem. But the commentaries tell us that the word garsa is talking about peels or an outer layer, which we would probably say in our service of God. It's talking about the distractions of the world. So generally, we most of us have this feeling inside us that we would like to connect with Hashem, but what stops us from connecting with Hashem are the outer layers, the peels. I would love to connect with Hashem as long as it doesn't interfere with my golf day. I would like to connect with Hashem as long as that doesn't interfere with what I want to eat, what I want to wear, where I want to go. That's what I'm happy to. And garsa nafshi means I want to peel away the distractions of life that are keeping me away from you, Hashem. And el mishpatecha b'chol eis, because I really want to be able to be involved with your Torah at all times. The commentaries tell us further than this, so that would be level 1. The next level that the commentaries explain to us is garsa means big chunks or coarse pieces. So it says that David is hinting to us how a person can learn Torah and be close to Hashem and develop his Torah, which is what he was asking to do in the previous psukim. So it says that the way that David would learn was first he began to learn big chunks of information, and this is called like big pieces of grain, which are referred to as a geres. And then only once he felt that he had gotten that, he would start taking each chunk of his learning and breaking it down. Teichen, which is to grind, to make it smooth. And he's telling us this because he's saying this is a good idea. When you start learning, break down your learning into big pieces first, and then take each big piece and make it into something fine and easy. And this is one of the very good suggestions of how a person should study Torah. And the third thing that we get from this pasuk, mishpatecha, your laws, your judgments, often refers to when a person is being tested or a person is being rewarded or punished. Mishpat, justice. And David HaMelech was one of the people who suffered many, many, many difficulties in his life. And he says, Hashem, Garsa nafshi lasaiva. My heart even desires el mishpatecha, your justices, the difficulties that you've put on me, the judgments. So for most of us, we don't like it when Hashem does something to us that we don't like. God forbid, should never. But David HaMelech, he actually understood what was happening to him, why he was going through those difficulties, and how it was helping him. And he says, Hashem, I don't mind. If you give El Mishpatecho, you give me your justices, your judgments, the punishments that you've chosen to give me, I understand that it's good for me and what I need to do with it. Just as a by the way, you only do that if you're a David HaMelech. We ask Hashem every day that He shouldn't give us difficulties, shouldn't make life hard and difficult for us, even if it's good for us. We're not looking for judgment and troubles from in our lives. God forbid. He continues and he says, Go'archa Zaydim Arurim, you Hashem rebuke those people who sin on purpose, Hashogim mimitzvesecha, and those who mistakenly turn away from you. And David HaMelech is addressing two types of people who are not able to do what Hashem wants. There are those who are the Zaydim, who they do it on purpose. They're rebels. They don't want to do what Hashem wants. And then there are the Shogim, the people who made a mistake. And the reason that they're doing wrong is because they don't know better. And David HaMelech says, Ga'arto, you Hashem rebuke both of them. Even the people who mistakenly doing things wrong. So a person who does things on purpose wrong, we understand why Hashem should be annoyed with them. The people who do things wrong by mistake, we wonder why. It's not their fault, they did it by mistake. So a shogeg is a person who decided that they didn't want to learn. So it's not that they made a mistake because nobody ever taught them and they didn't know, but it's a conscious decision not to know. I always use this example. My mother was going to a Shabbos shiur for a while by Rabbi Weinberg, and every week she was coming home and telling me, do you know you're not allowed to do this? And you know you can't use this. And one day I said, Ma, I don't want to hear. If I wanted to know all of that, I would go to the shiur myself. I'm very happy in my ignorance. And that was a very stupid comment because you can't just be happy in your ignorance. You can't decide that there is opportunity for me to learn and to know that. And I'll rather be a shogeg. I'll rather make the mistake not knowing. I won't know. So those are the kind of mistakes that we are not. That's not good. That Ga'arta, that Hashem rebukes us for that kind of mistake when we had opportunity and we chose not to use that opportunity. Obviously, if somebody does something really by mistake, they never had opportunity, they didn't know, and they made a mistake, Hashem is not chasing us with a red chip and dip fork. Root me of the scorn and the contempt, because I've guarded all your concepts, all your aiders. I'm gonna just read quickly the last two psukim and comment briefly. Gam Yashlu Sarim Bin Dabru, even the princes sit and talk about me. Avdacha Yasiach B'chukecha, your servant still studies your chukim. Gam Eidei Secha Sha'ashuai, I delight too in your observances. Anshe Atzasi, they are my advisors. So David HaMelech says, please remove from me the scorn of people who laugh at me, who mock me, and who sit idly, even princes just sit and speak about me. And what are they speaking about me? They're saying, look at David HaMelech. He does what Hashem wants. He continues doing what Hashem wants, and he suffers. Look how much he's suffering. Look what's happened to him. And they make fun of him, and they say, David, how long are you going to keep all this up? How long are you going to? You're going to just suffer and carry on doing what Hashem wants. And he finishes off by saying, yes, Gam edesecha sha'ashuai, I delight in doing your mitzvahs. Anshe atzasi, and they really are my advisors. They are what gives me the strength, the courage, and the ability to go on. And that brings us to the end of the gimmels. So.
Thank you, Rivki.
Pleasure.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.